Hey guys, welcome back. It's time. We're going to talk about the Reddit post that was a Facebook post that was I guess a message in a group chat. Here we go. We're going to show the actual details. There is so much misinformation about this floating around. It's painful. It's absolutely painful. So we're going to clear up as much as possible. This is an ongoing investigation, probably by the private eyes and also on a side by myself. I'm going to be looking into some of the details that are missing, potentially some of the other stuff that hasn't been solved yet. This is shut and closed and whatever you want to call it case in this instance. So we're going to go through the details here. Starting off, people seem to think that this was a recent event that took place, but it's not. This all took place at the end of 2021 and early 2022. I know, surprising. I guess we can take a look at the photo here before we continue. If you can't tell here, this is Fusion Strike hits, the big hits, the big boy mega hits. And you can see the white boxes here, which are used by the actual print facility. This is 100%. You don't even have to guess that this kind of thing, this came from a print facility. There's no one that opened this much product in order to get this many hits out of them. Even if they stole 1 billion packs, the amount of time it would take you to take all of these hits out. Yes, those are Alt-Art Gengars, Alt-Art Mew VMAXs. We got the Inteleons, we got the Espeons here. So you're going to be relieved to hear that these specific cards in the photo shown were seized by the Pokemon Company already. I would imagine that they just disposed of them. That's probably what should be done. This is, yes, it's very reminiscent of the Gold Star dogs with Card House EU, where he had binders and binders of those things, and it crushed the value, and it still has kind of crushed the value for that set and for those cards. It's not good. It's definitely not good. And again, we always have to talk about the fact that the person that did this is definitely out of job, and they will be extremely lucky if there isn't some sort of legal action taken by the Pokemon Company for them taking this. So that's what we're going to start off with here. This is like time and time again. I'm not sure how the actual value or amount of the cards really matters, but the moral of the story is, as always, don't steal from work. And like every time they do, it seems like it's the same song and dance where they try to unload too much at once. Yeah, go figure. So, as usual, with the stolen cards, a private investigator shows up and they track down the leak. So whether or not the leak is the person that sold them in this instance or that was looking to sell them in this instance, turns out it was actually not them. But it's not hard to follow the trail back. If there were transactions that were made, if you sold somebody these cards, if there's shipping information, etc., it all leads back to the original perp, the person that was stealing from work. And like, if you think somehow that they're not going to be able to figure out like who took this just insane amount of cards from work, you got another thing coming. Congratulations, you ruined your life. Potential criminal record and legal battle with the Pokemon Company, which I don't wish on anyone. I get a lot of fake threats for lawsuits, etc. But even I know not to even put my wiener anywhere near something that would upset Daddy Pokemon, because Nintendo, Pokemon, they will absolutely pump you and set an example. And I mean, I guess it's probably something that needs to be done and needs to be publicly displayed because it's getting very out of hand. I guess during the pandemic it was a little bit worse. We did like celebration stuff, Shining Fates, etc., where people were just stealing from the factory. And regardless of whether you steal a couple cards or whether you steal this gigantic amount here, don't do it, for the love of God. All right. So people, this is absolutely painful. People want to assume that they didn't pull good cards from Fusion Strike for this reason. Guys, these cards didn't end up in packs. They were probably nowhere close to even being in packs. We can take a look at the footage that I have in a video that I put out recently, modern footage. If you haven't watched my video with the modern footage of Pokemon cards being made, you're going to want to check that out. I'll put a link down below, and we'll put a link up above here. You can click on that, watch that after this video. It's super interesting if you haven't seen it. It's weird that it came out and it was kind of under the radar. no, the 12 packs of Fusion Strike that you opened weren't bad because of this. We'll take a look here. So this is how the cards are seated in. So odds are somebody didn't like run up off the floor here and steal them straight off the line. You can see here that there's certain cards seated in. It'll be different rarities so that the packs, the automated system here is going to put your commons where they should be, the uncommons where they should be, rares, regular rares, holos, your hits, etc. So all of it is pre-seeded, and the stuff is printed off. It's put in a box prior to that, and then they load these up. Like they'll manually put them in here in these trays, these feeders, whatever you want to call them, and that's how it works. So no, somebody didn't run up and right in front of everyone and just like steal these off the line. That's not how it happened. They were printed in advance. The hits are all printed on the same sheet because they have the texture on them. So whether or not they have like quality control samples where some of these hits might have been pulled off the line. So it probably, if I had to guess, would have come from something like that, and not just like somebody running up there and putting as many as possible in their box, in their pockets. You can see here some of the boxes look very similar to what was shown in our original post. So that's what I thought. So yeah, definitely check this video out if you haven't seen it. It kind of also dispels the fact that like people are saying that like there's more or less hits. The thing with like the God boxes and stuff like that, if someone puts the wrong cards in one of these feeders, yes, it's gonna mess it up. So maybe with the Fusion Strike God boxes that we got in Canada at one point in time, maybe in the rare slot or in the holo slot or something like that, they accidentally put like the big hits. Probably something like that. Something as simple as that, where they messed up. Maybe they put the wrong sheet on here that indicates what you should be putting into the feeder. Who knows? Something like that though. That's how it happened. That's why you get good or bad products. The Lost Origin example where it was like all trainer gallery, probably also just an error, human error, something like that, where they put the wrong cards in the wrong spots. But yeah. So now that we got that out of the way, now that we know a little bit more about how the cards are seated, etc. Yes, mistakes can happen. No, the Pokemon Company isn't like trying to dupe you. No, this person didn't steal directly from the people that were opening packs. I would say that these were either extras or even if they have them all set aside, they probably just stole like the boxes. You see the white boxes here, which is probably just the ones that are used to either send off the samples. Here we got like a tape over top of it to hold the cards in, all unsleeved. But yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, right? Okay, so as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it. Not sure why or how they thought it was a good idea to sell in these quantities. But again, criminals are dumb and desperate. You have to be pretty desperate and stupid to steal from work. So it's not really a surprise when you see them trying to just dump it all at once. And then they're going to leave it in massive trail. If you sold it to someone else, that person's probably going to feel some legal pressure or threats from the Pokemon Company, and they're going to rat you out down the chain back to the original person that stole them. No, if you cooperate with them, you're not going to be in that much trouble. If you purchase the stuff, you might be out some money, which would suck really bad. Don't, guys, for the love of God, I see so many people that are like, oh, I would love to buy a handful of those. No, don't buy stolen stuff. This is all stuff that will probably be seized, even if you did purchase it. And whether or not you get your money back is a different story. Don't purchase stolen goods. You don't have to. It's going to be all right, guys. So now the image. Where did the image come from? The image was shared in a group chat by the store owner. Another store owner that was in that group chat posted it on Facebook. It had been removed, but someone saved the image and from there and made a Reddit thread about it. So that's the Reddit thread that we have here. By Guava Wave. Pretty awesome. All right. Now, I did talk to the person that posted the image on Facebook, and this is what they said. I actually didn't know there was any investigation going on, which is why I shared the photo. I don't think they purchased the cards from the thief, but it's sort of a gray area. I do believe Pokemon has seized the cards from the seller or TCW being the store that they try to sell them to. From what we were told by TCW, there's a chance that shops in Dallas knew that the thief was there locally and waited for them to show up, but I've been told that's maybe 1/4 of what was stolen. So possibly up to 20,000 cards. Then you have to wonder, how long has TPCI known they were stolen? How Pokemon going to reimburse everyone? So they don't necessarily need to reimburse everyone, because I don't think it impacted the actual pull rates or the hits that were within the packs. They would have just had more printed, and that's even if we take into consideration that maybe these weren't like the samples or the what do you want to call it, quality control pulls, periodic pulls for quality control or something else. If they like ran out of hits and they didn't have any to feed into there, they would have had to print more, and they probably have an excess of each of these quantities, and if they ran out of one hit, they're not going to just keep pumping cards through without hits in it. At least they shouldn't. So we gotta take a step back here, guys. Your Fusion Strike packs, they're tough. All the early Sword and Shield stuff is tough. You probably have to open like every third box. You might get one of these alt arts. They're hard to pull. They're just hard to pull. The same with Evolving Skies, everything else. They're hard to pull cards. That's what it comes down to. 1 in 6 packs. You don't have trainer gallery here. There's no training wheels. There's no trainer gallery training wheels. So it's tough. It's tough to pull good cards from these sets. Fusion Strike is also massive. So there's that. All right. So the info from the store that is featured in the photo here. I believe these are the two people that work at the store. I did speak to them as well. I got to talk to everyone. Thank you very much that everyone that did cooperate and talk to me about this to try and get to the bottom of it. I would like to see about if there's other incidences. I've had someone reach out and mention that they know probably something about a similar event happening. So hopefully, I have no idea if the private investigators or Pokemon already cracked down on all these other incidents reports that I'm hearing about now, but I'll definitely be looking into that, and I will update you guys if I find out any more information about it. So info from the store in the photo, the people that received these cards, the mass amount of cards. And at first I was like, oh, what kind of store would be dumb enough to buy this stuff? But it sounds like they didn't. So I asked when it took place, and they told me sometime in September or October of 2021. And the cards were seized in January 2022. That they don't actually know what facility they were taken from. So where it was, the card shop is in Texas. I figured like maybe it was Cardamundi that where the cards were being printed back at that time. Now that Pokemon owns Millennium, I don't know if they print everything exclusively at Millennium or if they actually have stuff being printed with other companies. That'd be cool to know. If anyone does know, please reach out and let me know. So they don't know which facility they were taken from. And I asked, was it a private eye who showed up to take the cards? And they told me that a guy flew in and collected everything that the individual sent to them. So he did. The cards were shipped to the game store. This wasn't like them sitting down and talking about how many hits are here with the person that was selling them. And I asked if they were shipped from NC, North Carolina, because that's where the Millennium Print Group facilities are. And they told me no, that it was the West Coast, somewhere from the West Coast, from what they recall. But at the same time, they could have been shipped around. That person could have bought them from somebody that was stealing from North Carolina. So again, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. These things could have been shipped, were probably shipped. I mean, they were shipped to the game store. So, so the game store also told me, from what they were told, the person that had the cards in possession was not the actual person that stole them. So the person that stole them from the facility had already sold them to this person who shipped the cards to the game store. Everything that the game store received was handed over to Pokemon as they required it for evidence. Basically, Pokemon or the private investigator made an offer to the person that sent them in, and he sent them in to the game store in order to avoid trouble. So it wasn't like there was no actual transaction apparently that went on to the game store. The game store didn't pay anything, so they weren't like out money or anything like that. They just worked alongside the PI. I mean, I don't know how you don't think like the game store shouldn't. Most people that are running a game store are smart enough to not buy stolen goods. Especially when they're in this type of quantity. Even if you trickled them out, the amount of risk getting caught with this stuff is just, it's not worth it. It's a ton of money, but it's bad news. It's absolutely bad news. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know this was an interesting one. I know, man, thank you to the 7,000 people that sent me the link to this last night. But hopefully this is clears things up a little bit. Crazy incident, and then like, man, something like this would just ruin a set as well. It ruins it for everyone, because anyone that has the cards, if it's going to tank the value of the cards, like, it sucks for anyone that bought a single. It sucks for anyone that opened packs and got any of these chase cards. Not that they're like mega super expensive to the extreme, but this is the kind of thing that can just absolutely destroy a set. Same with the gold star dogs. And it's not good for anyone. It's not good for the market. It's not good for, I mean, I guess it's good for people that just want like an inexpensive copy of the cards, but even then, none of these are that expensive to the point that if you really, really want one, anyone can save up and get a Gengar or a Mew or an Espeon, right? Right, guys? All right, thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye.